Okay, yes, let's do this thing. My favorite video games of 2023, yada yada. These are my personal opinions for what I had fun with. Not meant to be an argument, yada yada. Let's all have fun with this hobby of ours, yada yada. Disclaimer, let's go. I've long accepted that my tone does not match the bird's eye opinions or anything. I will bitch and moan for hours about things that I still love, and I will stay vaguely pleasant things about games that I could take or leave. It's just what I want to talk about. That's my happy place. At this current time, I have not yet played, but am still interested in playing Pikmin 4, Little Goody Two Shoes, Ghost Runner 2, Yakuza Gaiden, and In Stars and Time. There are plenty of games that I had no interest in playing, like Starfield or the Dead Space remake, so I did not. Top 15, because I had at least 15 to pick through that I don't feel regretful mentioning. 15, Slay the Princess. I will lick the earhole of Jonathan Sims. I will gently massage his supple taint. But until that comes to pass, this game is pretty good. There's a handful of games this year that I like in concept, but I find them a bit rough around the edges, I feel like with some edits and tweaks, I'd only have positive things to say about them. This is one of those cases where I feel like the dialogue can get a bit repetitive or slow down a scene, and I don't feel like the concepts are quite unique or wild enough to thrill me the whole way through, and I would have liked to see even more bold surrealism in it. But anyways, good game. Jonathan Sims, call me, bro. 7.5 out of 10. 14, Final Fantasy 16. Don't get too excited, I only place it here because of the sheer painlessness of the gameplay loop. I have very few strong positive things to say about this title. Mr. Ben Starr carries most scenes and the entire character of Clive Rostfield. The performances in the whole make what should be a very boring story slightly fun to watch. Gameplay is fine, mostly unobtrusive. It's mildly fun to stack the abilities in the game to maximize DPS or do some weird shit, and I like the negative edge moves, as my fighting game content has made no secret of. So Flame Sword and the big, negative edge fireball things and stuff are satisfying to use constantly, so 7.5 out of 10. 13, Alan Wake 2. Another game that's a minor bit of adjusting away from being higher on my list. It's fucking shocking to me how much better Alan's half of the game is than Saga's. You go from wandering around a boring fucking forest, solving the same types of boring puzzles and meandering around, picking up shit for 2 hours straight, and then switch to Alan and you get the most baller sequence in the game for like just a nice 20 minutes. It's just more of a slog than it really should be. It honestly needs some more creative shit in it. Its ending is like ironically too abrupt and a bit plain, but overall, it has some stuff I like in it. 7 out of 10. 12. Blasphemous 2. Same story, good game held back by certain aspects, certain choices. Your arsenal of abilities make the game too fucking easy. If you nerf the overpowered aspects of the default weapons and stuff, and then it stands a chance of being like a more memorable experience. It's just hard to remember too much about it because it's so smooth and painless, which is the opposite of how a Blasphemous sequel should be. It's all about hammering nails through your penis and penitence for God. It's about the Spanish. It should be painful. 7 out of 10. 11. The Talos Principle 2. At this point, I had to double check to see whether or not I hadn't even included any explicit pornography on this list, but I don't know about putting fucking Project Passion in top 15. There was some other stuff this year that was okay, some stuff that got delayed indefinitely. Hush Hush is on my list, but is actually not pornography, as impossible as that is to believe, and I've decided against including Being a Dick in my yearly lists until a full new season drops, which was not the case last year either. I just can't include it for like every new episode, nor would I even necessarily want to or feel inclined to. Anyways, that's has nothing to do with this robot game. In this game, you solve puzzles and you talk to robots, and that's honestly like most of it. Puzzles could stand to be more challenging sometimes, or at least give you the option to do more challenging things. Baba Is You doesn't have any trouble as like a good example of letting you bang your fucking head against the wall for 3 hours. Story in this is, you know, it's whatever. I refuse to read text on screen unless I actually care about a story, which is quite rare for me in video games these days. So, I only got some portion of the story in this, but from what I gathered, it's also a bit repetitive. It's like a poor man, baby Redditor's first philosophy jargon. It's okay, it's fine. You know, it's charming, I like it. Good game. 8 out of 10. 10. Misery Chord. Similar story. I have a lot of, like, very respectful, kind things to say about it. I respect it a lot. I feel like I'm close to loving it. I just maybe would have liked a slightly better paced story. It's extremely high quality. It doesn't land for me and, like, hold my interest perfectly. It's just very, very good. Would have been top 3 had it been smoothed over, I guess. But anyways, but it's not, you know, not finished yet. Great game. Can't wait for more. 8.5 out of 10. 9. Octopath Traveler 2. For all the complaining I do about cliches and, you know, by-the-numbers media, sometimes you get reminders that the cliches themselves aren't necessarily the problem. Cliches are just overused formulae, but the formulas themselves still make sense and can produce fun shit. This game has fun gameplay, even if it's a bit grindy. The game experience is very at your mercy of your own decision making, because if you do anything in an unoptimal order, you can wind up with grindy bits at some points and then way too easy bits for the later sequences. Or just sequences where you have an awkward lineup of party members that you haven't leveled up yet, etc. Still, the gameplay, fundamentally solid, fun. The stories all embrace their cliches very earnestly, straightforwardly, not pretending to be more complicated than they are. And, you know, they're executed well. They just wind up being very likable. It's a fun time. This was a game that surprised me with how good it was in every capacity, and it's way better than the first game. 8 out of 10. 8. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Yes, I still hate remakes, don't worry. The original is significantly better, and any positivity I feel towards the experience of playing this is dwarfed by the reality that I could just be playing the original. Not only is the original better in my opinion, but the more important factor is that I don't believe that remakes deserve recognition or praise. So this is not me praising the remake, as remakes do not deserve praise because they're just doing things based off of lazy minor alterations of something that already exists that does deserve praise for its originality and its creativity and its quality and excellence and execution in its artistic vision. This is simply me saying I had an alright time playing this video game. The difference in toolset, weapons, enemy behavior, certain levels, and most importantly, fundamental control schemes makes this experience different from the original and thus not necessarily boring to someone who's played the original a lot. It's not as good as the original, but, you know, it's not the same, therefore, you know, you can play through it. I played through it, thrice. I'm not giving it a rating out of 10 because it's a remake and it deserves no rating because it earns nothing on its own. It exists by copying 90% of what it is from what is successful already, not by making anything of its own, so, not eligible out of 10. 7. Tears of the Kingdom. I asked, to elaborate. I have a lot more to say about games like RE4 Remake, or this game, at least from what I've seen from people like Arlo, whom I love deeply. People seem to be more critical of Tears of the Kingdom than I would have expected. I could make a long analysis of why that is. It's just, in my own succinct opinion, I like the game. Movement and filling the world eases some of the complaints that I had with Breath of the Wild. The fucking Build-A-Bear workshop shit is enjoyable enough. It's a smooth experience, enough interesting additions to make it somewhat exciting. I had a fine time with it. You know, there's more nuanced and high concept level criticisms people make of it, but yeah, I enjoyed it. 8.5 out of 10. 6. Cultic. Alright, now we're on to games I actually fucking liked. Fuck yeah. Yo, Cultic is the shit. Don't get it twisted, okay? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and play this shit. This is fucking raw-ass gameplay, okay? It's raw, and it's in your ass, and it's gameplay. That's all you need to know. While AAA tries its hardest to make everything all more cinematic and flowy and slowing everything down and making this shit is straight from the era of raw player control. Smooth, snappy controls. It's not fucking loose. Perfect execution, great feeling controls, satisfying, well-designed, great level design, cool setting. This is a fucking video game. Can't wait for Chapter 2. 8 out of 10. I'd like more content before it's... I'll give it a 9 out of 10 once Chapter 2 comes out. 5. Lies of P. Another surprise for me, honestly. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't thinking this game would be like a flop or anything, but I get skeptical of all the fucking Souls-likes, and this one wasn't just another, like, by-the-books plug-and-play of a Souls ripoff. It does a lot that I really like for the concept and the genre and whatever. Its content is a bit limited, its content is a bit, I don't mean, like, in terms of runtime, but, the substance of the content. Not quite as good as, you know, Souls, but I love the core mechanics, music collectibles, weapon and accessory variety and creativity. Excellent game. 8.5 out of 10. 4. Hush Hush, Only Your Love Can Save Them. Totally not pornography. This is the one time I'm not boosting bare ass clapping cheeks in my end of the year review. Instead, somehow even more bizarrely, this is a spin-off of a fucking series of browser microtransaction pornography parody games, and it's actually just somehow results in being a really solid, charming, non-pornographic dating sim. This is not something I would have ever expected to be genuinely good, but it's actually very good. 8 out of 10. 3. Baldur's Gate 3. No, I haven't had a lobotomy, haven't really changed my mind or anything. The game just has so much runtime and content, it's hard to argue with the results. Also, the latter half of the game is much more fun than the like, Act 1 or anything like that, because the latter portion of class abilities and the higher level spells are much more interesting and much more fun to use. You can't argue with hundreds of hours of mostly entertaining content, and it's also very consistent, which means that it has the capacity to grow on you despite yourself. Also, I can't deny the sheer quality of character in the devs, in the dev team that they have, and they're extremely player-friendly, updating in their patching habits. And at this point, I would like to play through it again, but I find retrudging through Act 1 to be really fucking boring, and I wish there was like a Skyrim level, like fuck-off level of different quests and different directions to take within 2 minutes of starting the game, so I wouldn't have to sit through any of the same shit. But, anyways, yeah, unbelievable amount of content, 9 out of 10. 2. Street Fighter 6. Yes, insert the fucking SAO abridged explanation about the tapeworms. I have my issues with the game in its current state. I don't enjoy the act of playing other people in it online on ranked anywhere near as much as I should to inform a hobby of this nature of playing a grueling competitive game for hundreds of hours. But I'm bound to it. It's bound to me. There's no escaping that. Plus, I have no pessimism about the game. I have full confidence the game will gradually become more fun to play as I experiment and find more things that are fun with it, as my ability improves in... It's ironic because I don't... Like, statistically, I am better at this game than I was in Street Fighter V, where, I liked it more, but I was objectively worse at it. I was objectively struggling to improve relative to my peers. This game is pretty fucking easy to win. but I feel like I'm worse at it. But yeah, I have no pessimism. I will experiment. I will maybe feel more comfortable with myself within the game, or maybe not, but in any case, the game will be updated and probably improved and made more interesting. It's fucking Street Fighter, bro. Like, you don't rush to get a divorce when you have a fight with your wife. Outside of the competitive aspect, the product is also just really good for a fighting game. 8 out of 10. Number 1, Class of 09, The Re-Up. I love it. The one game this year that I actually, truly love. No buts, no drawbacks, no mixed feelings. I fucking love this game. Some people want to undercut it, be reductive. Oh, Boondocks for white people. Yeah, fuck off. This shit is so good, okay? It's both a multi-layered satire and a genuine piece of darkly and honestly cynical yet heartfelt female storytelling. This is the kind of satire that I get out of bed for, okay? This is that fucking good shit. 9.5 out of 10. Honorable mentions, Lethal Company, Corn Kids 3D, I think that's what it's called, Coffin of Andy and Lele, whatever the fuck it's supposed to be, Case of the Golden Idol DLC released this year. Yeah, I guess. Okay, that's all. Please play these games. Play more games. Play the games from last year, too. While you're at it, play Teenage Exocolonist if you haven't. Immortality, Case of the Golden Idol, Not for Broadcast, fucking Cultic. Play all these fucking games. Play every game. Yeah, cool. That's about it. See ya.